Hey, comic book fans, Kevin Given with you once again on a comic book review show. Don't forget to check out my reviews on Comics for Sinners as well as Comic Crusaders websites. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. Hello, true believers. Kevin Given back with you with another episode of Comic Book Reviews. And today we're going to review the film Men in Black, as well as the comic book V-Wars, God of Death, the one-shot. Let's start with that. This issue opens with a surgical team operating on patient zero of the vampire plague, Michael Fane. He had been brought back to life a couple of years ago, but only lived for a short time. His presence at first started the vampire wars, but then seemed to end said wars. Little does this medical team know, but this party is about to be crashed. Let's look at the creative team. Jonathan Mayberry wastes no time getting us into the heart of this tale. It's all-out war, and we learn that the V gene is in all of us. It lays dormant in most of us, but we all have the potential to become one of these undead creatures. Through this understanding, we realize that there could be 150 million vampires on planet Earth. The tensions between mortals and vampires are rising, and the uneasy truce between the two is being threatened. Mayberry succeeds in building this universe and creating a feeling of mistrust between the two species. I really enjoyed the direction this issue is taking as tempers flare and war seems to be inevitable. Great stuff includes the obvious parallels to this story's politics and real-world politics, also the fate of Michael Fane. Alex Milne helps to create this dark universe, and his panels show the right range of fear and unease among protagonists and antagonists. The looks of distrust among both humans and vampires in a world gone mad are well illustrated here. He helps the tension felt in this story as the looks on the characters say it all. Highlights include the military men jumping into action, also the shocking final page. In conclusion, this is a vampire story loaded with growing anxiety, and everything rests on the attempted resurrection of Michael Fane. One side is desperately trying to resurrect him, while the other side is desperately trying to prevent that resurrection. It's a race against time, and only one side will come out victorious. But which one? This comic is a great read and keeps us in suspense until the final page, which sees... no spoilers. To be continued. 4 stars, a 9.2 rating from this comic book reviewer. And now let's look at the movie, The Men in Black International. Men in Black, a lot of people don't realize, started as a comic book from Aircel Comics, then went to Malibu, which was bought out by Marvel. And we see the Men in Black. Now, wouldn't it have been cool to have one of the men be Tommy Lee Jones or Josh Brolin in a cameo as Agent K? But alas, the creative juices just weren't flowing during the creation of this film. Well, anyway, they visit 10-year-old Molly, who is played by Mandy Flory, her parents 20 years ago, as they discover a strange creature. It's a cute, harmless alien, and winds up in the 10-year-old Molly's room as the agents discuss the situation with her parents in her front yard. Molly is watching the whole thing unfold from her bedroom window when the agents flashy thing her parents. Molly covers her eyes so she doesn't get her memory wiped. Remembering what she saw years later, she spends much of her life hunting for the Men in Black organization. Because of this, she's pretty much a loner who never had too many friends, or a boyfriend. She finally finds the organization and winds up joining with Agent O, played by Emma Thompson, as her sponsor. Through Agent High T, played by Liam Neeson, she's linked with Agent H, and that, of course, is Chris Hemsworth. Who else? And they go on a mission to hunt down the Milli Vanilli alien twins, played by Laurent and Larry Bourgeois. They're seeking the weapon for the Hive. Not going to give away too many spoilers. We won't tell what the Hive is. You'll have to see the movie. I find this movie so hard to review. It's not bad, but it's not memorable either. Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson have worked together in the MCU as Thor and Valkyrie a couple of times, so they're comfortable on screen together and have a good chemistry. But the jokes just aren't that funny most of the time, and the ones that are kind of fall flat sometimes, giving us barely a chuckle. We must wait almost halfway through the movie before we get anything that resembles a plot. The Bourgeois twins are there simply to track down this film's MacGuffin, a weapon disguised as a crystal, and they are completely underdeveloped. Much like the Dabari in the current Dark Phoenix movie, the villains are very, very underdeveloped, and we don't get to relate to them in any way, shape, or form. That's unlike Vincent D'Onofrio's awesome turn as the man possessed by a cockroach in the first film, or even Rosario Dawson's turn as Laura Vasquez, the Light of Zartha, in the first sequel. Both of those characters were well developed, and we could care about what happens to them. The alien twins, not so much. We wind up feeling nothing for their mission or the Hive when the secret of what the Hive is about is finally revealed. The most memorable scene comes more than halfway through during a fight that Agents H and M have with Riza, played by Rebecca Ferguson, and an alien that turns out to be more important to the plot than previously thought. Again, no spoilers, gotta watch the movie. Riza, it turns out, has 3 arms, which definitely gives her the reach advantage over M. But M more than holds her own in this scene. In one amusing moment, H picks up a tiny hammer and laughs at his opponent, implying that the tide of this battle has turned. In an obvious homage to his Thor character in the MCU, he throws the hammer at the villain, who grabs it and tosses it away. All the actors give it their best shot, but there's just no energy here. The shock ending isn't so shocking, and the scenes just kind of bleed together instead of flowing in a coherent motion. Other than Agent O, there's no one else here from the original franchise, save for cameos from Frank the Pug, Tim Blaney, and the Worms, Tom Fontaine, Andrew Massey. The aliens aren't as creative as they used to be, and the fight scenes are actually kind of boring overall. The feeling is, been there, done that. Why don't we try something new? 2.5 stars, 5.7 rating from this comic book reviewer. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. And that was our look at comic book reviews for this week. Until next time, this is Kevin Gibbons saying so long and keep reading those comics.